Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Full Gear ended about 12 hours ago, and you're asking yourself, well, what just happened? We're going to get into it, all of the matches, especially the three on the pre-show, and some major changes that went down, and I won't be before you long. I am Jeremy Pierce. This is what just happened, Full Gear 2023. So first up on the pre-show, we had our first match of the evening on 0 Hour, which is what the pre-show was called. Eddie Kingston defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Jay Lethal, and this was fine. This was fine. It was nothing special. We got the usual antics from Jeff Jarrett and company and Jay Lethal, and it was cool. Eddie was never losing this belt. Lethal controlled pretty much the whole middle of the match, but things fell apart when Karen Jarrett got involved, Satnam Singh got involved. Ortiz came to back up Eddie, so I want to see where we're going to go with that. But Eddie won as he blocked a Lethal injection and landed a half and half suplex and a spinning back fist for the win. He didn't have some fun on the stage with Renee and RJ City, because what's the boy's name? Stokely Hathaway was on commentary and Eddie called them out. Our second match on the card was Claudio Castagnoli versus Buddy Matthews, and this was a good match with some good action from these two. It wasn't anything crazy. It was kind of just, a little heater to get people involved, but I really enjoyed this, and I think if these dudes were given a little bit more time, they could really put on a banger of a match. Claudio ultimately won, tapping out Buddy Matthews with the sharpshooter. Claudio waited and asked for a handshake from Buddy, but he paused him and brushed him off, showing that disrespect. So it's going to go down at some point between the BCC and the House of Black. And our quote-unquote main event of the pre-show was MJF and Samoa Joe defending the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships against the Guns. And this was cool. Joe backed up MJF and really held his own, because come on, it's Samoa Joe. He even kicked out of a three. He didn't kick out, but MJF broke up the 310 Yuma after they hit it on Samoa Joe, and it looked like the Guns were going to go to cheat when Adam Cole's music came on. He walked out to the ring on crutches, and then Joe locked in a coquina clutch on Colton Gunn and tapped him out. After the match, though, after Joe left, the Guns absolutely destroyed Jay White, destroyed his leg, and it was bad. They even kind of did a stretcher job, and Cole was very worried. So we will see what happens with the main event. On to the main card. Our first match of the evening was Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus going against Sting, Adam Cole, and Darby Allin, and they were accompanied by Ric Flair. This match was fine. It served its purpose to, one, build up to Adam Copeland versus Christian, and using Nick Wayne to take bumps to show that, okay, he's here on the main stage. Darby just got absolutely murdered by Luchasaurus. It was crazy. And I was surprised that this was a normal tag team match. No special stipulations, because Sting matches usually have special stipulations. Ric Flair and Christian got into it, and there was no DQ because the ref saw Christian hit Ric Flair first, so ref's discretion. But it was nothing major, and then Christian just low-blow Ric Flair. But in the end, Christian ran from Adam Copeland. Darby hit Luchasaurus with a coffin drop, and Edge hit a spear and made the pin and got the win. Next up, we had on the stage, it was announced that MJF can't compete and that Jay White will be awarded the championship. But then Adam Cole came out and said that he will replace MJF, and they'll do that in the main event. And Cole and White got some history, because of their history in the Bullet Club back in New Japan. So this was good, but I want to see where we go with this. Next up, we had Orange Cassidy defending the International Championship against Jon Moxley. This is round 2 for them, and this match was crazy. It was intense. It was brutal, but it wasn't long, and I'm glad it wasn't long. Essentially, these two wanted to prove that they deserved that championship, and it was more so on Cassidy to show that this is his championship and that he can win this. Of course, there was blood because it's a Jon Moxley match, and what is a Jon Moxley match without any blood? But in the end, Orange Cassidy won clean. Mox started mocking Cassidy with his kicks, and then Cassidy shoved Mox into the exposed turnbuckle, which had got exposed earlier in the match, and he landed an orange punch, 3 of them things, and then he hit a beach break. Sorry, he hit 2 more orange punches and then hit a beach break, defeating Moxley clean. I wonder what's next for Mox and where he goes from here. I think we're going to transition into the BCC versus the House of Black and maybe start building up the BCC and House of Black back to Trios Championship contenders. Next up, we had a video that told us that Mark Briscoe will be in the Continental Classic. So that includes Mark Briscoe, Bryan Danielson, and Andrade. So we have 9 more names to be introduced into the Continental Classic. Next up, we had the AEW Women's Championship as Hikaru Shida was defending against timeless Toni Storm. And I like this. I like this a lot. These two have had better matches and can have better matches. And the story was that essentially Shida has Toni Storm's number and kind of has had it for a while. So what will happen when Toni Storm is unleashed and is kind of crazy? But the match changed when Luther gave Shida a silver plate and she put it in the back of our trunks. The screen went black and white, and then she hit the hip attack with the film effect, and then hit the Storm Zero to win. And Toni Storm is now a 3-time champion. I need to make sure that I'm not tripping, but I think Toni Storm is now a 3-time champion. Yes, joining Shida, Storm is now a 3-time champion. So, but this was good. I expect a rematch, and what I didn't expect was Mariah May not to show. I really thought Mariah May would be involved in the match, possibly helping Toni win. But now, timeless Toni Storm is your women's champion. Next up, right backstage, we had an interview with Eddie Kingston, who was just tired, and he said now that he is in the G1 Continental Classic, he is going to put his Ring of Honor and his New Japan Strong title on the line in this tournament, and the winner gets those 2 in the Continental Championship. It's a Triple Crown champion, and they will defend these championships throughout all the promotions. New Japan, Ring of Honor, and the Continental Championship obviously will be defended in the second Continental Classic. But I like this. But also, AEW might have too many championships. I'm starting to get to that point. Next up, we had a fatal 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships as Ricky Starks and Big Bill were defending against FTR, the House of Black, and La Faccion and Ingobnerable. And excuse me, I thought that it would be Roosh and Preston Vance. It was actually Roosh and Drew Listico representing LFI, but this was all points crazy. There were so many crazy spots that I thought everybody died, and I don't know how to cover it. And modern ladder matches starting to become spot fest, and wrestlers just putting their bodies on the line. I think we need to start dialing back these matches down. But the match was good. There were so many spots. The fact that Dax and Cash really got involved and put their thing down in this match, when this is something they really don't do work. But ultimately, Big Bill and Ricky Starks won. retaining their tag team championships, and I like that. I like that because they needed a good defense. So what's next for all of these teams? I can see we're probably still gonna transition to also LF5 versus the House of Black versus the BCC. So we need some more trios contenders, and we can still stick with FTR and Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the tag team championships. But we got an update on the Continental Classic that this will be, as Excalibur explained, a modern American Triple Crown champion. So are they merging the championships? We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because I don't want the championships to merge. Like, Ring of Honor needs a world champion. Next up, we had a triple threat match for the AEW TBS Championship with Chris Statlander defending against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. And I just want to say, shout out to all three of these women. These are three homegrown talents, and two of them, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, started at the bottom, wrestling on Dark and Dark Elevation, and to go from there to being on a pay-per-view fighting for a major championship. You love to see that growth in the wrestling industry. Sky Blue came out with a new look, wearing more black, dark black, and wearing a black crown. But essentially, real talk, Chris Statlander dominated the majority of this match because she's just so strong and so powerful, and she even still has the speed to match with Julia Hart and Sky Blue. But she dominated a lot of this match. And occasionally, Julia Hart and Sky Blue got involved, and they shook hands, but then Hart turned on Sky, and everybody did their part. Julia Hart looked good. Sky Blue looked good. Sky even was able to hit the cold blue on Statlander, but kicked out. And it took a lot, because now that these women were going to defeat Statlander, she was just dominating this match. So Stat hit some suplexes. And as she was saying suplexes, Excalibur said one might even call her a human suplex machine. Taz was like, whoa, relax, easy there. Stat landed the Saturday Night Fever on Sky Blue, but then Julia Hart clotheslined Statlander over the top rope and pinned Sky Blue. So we have a new TBS champion. The crowd was quiet for the early part of this match, but really in the closing minutes really picked up. It is good to see Julia Hart gets a championship win. So now we can kind of transition her over there, and we can actually transition Chris Statlander up into the main event. And I think it's really time for her to be going for the women's championship. But this was good. Next up, we had that mystery signing, and it was none other than Will Ospreay, who is now All Elite with Tony Schiavone. The AEW World Championship picture just got a little bit more complex, but Ospreay said he's happy to be here, and he's got bad news for everyone. He's coming for the top. He's coming for everybody. He's coming for the championship. He said he'll finish up his work in New Japan, and then he'll be on the road to Revolution. And then he is officially All Elite, especially for Wembley Stadium. Yeah, I think by the time we get to All In at next year at Wembley, he will be fighting for the World Championship. That's just me. Next up, we had our clear match of the evening, and an absolutely banger of a match, as Hangman Adam Page took on Swerve Strickland in a Texas death match. And boy, this was intense. So we start out with Prince Nana coming out with some dancers, and it was great. Show Prince Nana some love. But as Swerve was coming out and they were in the ring, Hangman just came out of nowhere and started attacking him. This match was insane. It got brutal. It got bloody. There was barbed wire everywhere. Swerve is a madman. He used a stapler that he took from Hangman's house that his kid used, and now they're bleeding, and Hangman was just completely unhinged. There was barbed wire. It's at one point Hangman was drinking Swerve's blood. This was so crazy. This is the longest, I believe, the longest match on the card. Prince Nana got murdered. He took a dead eye off of the stage, off the ring, through the table, and then Swerve broke a cinder block on Hangman's back, and then there was more chairs and more barbed wire, and Swerve hung Hangman up with a chain. I don't know. And then Hangman collapsed, and the ref counted to 10, and Swerve won. This was one of the most violent and most bloody matches I have ever seen in my life. That's outside of CZW. But I wasn't expecting Swerve to win. I thought this was going to be a trilogy, but Swerve winning tells me that I think they're confident in pushing him up the card and giving him a bigger role in the company, which is I'm all here for. This is by far our match of the evening. Next up, the Young Bucks versus the Golden Jets, team of Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Don Callis was on commentary, and this told the story of the Bucks going against their friend Kenny. And it was hard to really be into this match just because of what happened prior with the Texas Death Match. But this really, really worked well. And the Bucks and Kenny really had each other's number. They knew how to counter their moves. Matt hit a one-winged angel on Kenny Omega. That's what we were going for. Jericho was there. I'm not gonna say he was just there, but he took a lot of damage. But these four know each other so well, counting each other's moves. There's a lot of near falls, a lot of near spots, big spots, and the crowd near the end of the match really, really started to get involved. And in the end, Omega hit the one-winged angel on Matt Jackson to win the match, taking along with them the Young Bucks tag team title shot. And the Bucks threw a tantrum after the match, so I like the heel version we're going here with. And they even low blow Kenny and Jericho during the match, so this was good. And in our main event, that was weird to say the least. So Adam Cole came out on his crutches to face Jay White, but an ambulance showed up and there was MJF. So for the whole match, he was selling the knee. Adam Cole made sure MJF was okay before he could compete, and he was like, I'm good. So this seemed like the match was in the bag for Jay White, but MJF was fighting. He was fighting, and look, Jay White controlled a lot of this match, but there were times where MJF hit his spots. He hit a kangaroo kick, hurt himself. Hit a move on the top rope, hurt himself. He hit a running cutter over the top rope, which was an absolutely insane spot. And I like how MJF has evolved as a professional wrestler. But this was solid. Jay White had the perfect move for MJF as he kept hitting dragon screws on that injured leg. Remember, MJF's leg got injured earlier in the show during the pre-show. But as we get near the end of the match, there was going to be cheating involved. We had a ref spot. The ref got knocked down. So Jay White went to use first he went to use the championship, and it didn't work. Then he went to use the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and he actually did hit MJF, but MJF was able to kick out. Then MJF, behind the ref's back, hit Jay White with the Dynamite Diamond Ring and was able to get the win. Adam Cole and MJF entered the ring and celebrated, and we're going to continue the story. There was no Devil in his cronies, which I liked. I actually liked the Devil not appearing because we were all waiting for the Devil to make an appearance. But MJF showed heart, he showed grit, and he is your longest reigning world champion. He's held the championship now for a calendar year. So I'm curious as where we go from here. Adam Cole being there, being the friend, was good. But who is the devil? Could it be Cole? Could it be Roddy? Hell, could it be Britt Baker? It was just tough to think that, they were gonna AEW were gonna allow Adam Cole to defend the championship in a cast, but we got it. And I want to know where does Jay White go from here? He needs to be re-upped, you know what I mean, given some more shine. But overall, this was a good show. Full Gear was good. I am happy with a lot of the matches, especially the women's match. That really puts a smile on my face. And we move on to what we got next. We have World's End and the Continental Classic coming up. I hope AEW, I hope they clarify what's at stake in the Continental Classics. I don't know how I feel about 3 world championships being on the line in this tournament. But come back this Saturday for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast as we preview Survivor Series. But that is our show. That is Full Gear 2023 and what just happened. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Don't forget to check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, of course, the 215 on Twitter. Peace.